Okay, so welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be stripping as much off of this as I can. I want as little left on this frame as possible. I'm going to try to get the motor out, the gas tank, all the wires and connections. I'm going to leave the front differential in because I need that. And I'm going to leave these levers because they do work. This one runs down and controls the differential. It's neutral or like freewheeling, so you can steer better. Open but four-wheel drive, and locked. So I want to keep that in there, but I need to get this engine out. I need to get the muffler out. I need to get the gas tank out. I need to get everything pretty much besides the suspension, the steering, and the differential. Everything else has got to go. This is something most people won't show you when it comes to working on stuff like this. But this is what a lot that gets cut out is. It's taking this little wrench, trying to very carefully line it up on that bolt, and turning it like maybe like a quarter of a turn, and then taking it off and putting it back on. This is the most tedious part. Building stuff is fun, but this is what you're going to be doing the most of. Okay. I finally got this nut, the one that I was showing you, off the bottom of the steer where the handlebars bolt, the shaft that goes down and actually steers the wheels using these tie rods. Now, it won't come off because this piece is welded on to this shaft that goes all the way up to the handlebars, which is under this gas tank, which is under these levers. If you look, there's a bolt hole here, there's one right down in there, there's one over here on this end, and it's under these levers, which means I also got to unbolt them from here and move everything out of the way to pull the gas tank out, to then finally pull this out. This is tedious. So I ran into a bit of an issue. As you've seen from the time lapse, I got that piece off, but the gas tank won't come out because there's a motor in the way this way, which means they basically put this on, put this piece, the like diff controls and stuff on, and then they put the engine in. So the only way to get the gas tank out without destroying it is to take this motor off. So I guess that's what I'm going to work on next. So I'm going to give you guys a bit of another tip before we get back to the time lapse. This bolt is really on there. There's this technique you use, it's called cheating. I'm using it like this. What you're essentially doing is extending the length of the wrench so you can put more torque in. Now look how easy it is. Now that the bolt is broke loose, you can just go back to using the normal ratchet. It makes it so much easier, and it's such a useful trick to know. Do not do it if you do not intend to break the bolts. If it's just like this, which is just a bolt that's never going to be used again, or at most put in a parts bin for something eventually later, it doesn't really matter because it's rusty, it's corroded, it's not very strong anyway. So it doesn't matter as much. But if it is something important that you do not want to lose, never cheat when you're trying to take it off. The next step is I am going to try to get this drive shaft loose, which hooks to the motor right here. And then I'm going to try to get these axles loose. And then theoretically the whole motor should pull this way and come right out. And then I can get the gas tank off, and then I can get the handlebar mount off. So I think I finally figured out what to do. So I can't get this gas tank off without getting this engine off, and I cannot get the engine off without A, getting this drive shaft off, and getting the axles off. So what my plan is since this will not come off unless those axles are off first, I'm going to unbolt here, right here, and if you follow it back, right there where those wrenches are. I'm going to pull the whole suspension piece off, and that should take this axle off. I'm going to do the same thing to that side, and I should be able to slide the motor back, and you can see these splines go into this holder right here, and that's how it actually holds. So I should be able to slide the motor back enough to get it off, and then just pull it this way. But I'm not going to film all that because I don't know how long it's going to take. So I got the suspension arm off and out of the way. So after I get this wheel off, I can pull the suspension arm off, and the engine should just pivot out after I get that off, the wheel off. Because if you look, there's a castle nut here, but all this is held on. So I'm going to try to take the castle nut off and pull the wheel off the axle. Or if that doesn't work, I'm just going to take the wheel off, unbolt that side, take the wheel off of that side too, and then just pull the whole thing out and try to figure it out here outside of the frame. So I got the suspension arm off. It bolted here and here to pivot on, and then the actual spring bolted right here up at the top. Remember what I told you about this drive shaft, how it had the splines on it that slid in? That's what this does. It has splines that slide into that knuckle right here to allow it to actually drive. So I have to take the suspension arm off on this side, get it unhooked like I did that one, and then I should be able just to push the motor that way and pull it out, pull the gas tank off, and then pull this bar, the steering bar right here, and leave these tie rods, and that's it. It's stripped, and I've taken off everything that I wanted off. So we're almost there. Okay, so I got the engine loose. It took taking this suspension arm off. I took the wheels off so they were easier to move. It's finally loose, and as you can see, it's coming somewhat out. I just have to get it pulled back enough to get off those splines, and that's it. It'll be out. And then I can take the gas tank out, and I can take the handlebar steering bar out. This one, right here. Okay, got it out. It's kind of messy under there. It spilled oil everywhere. And now this can just pull back and straighten up. It's hard to do this with one hand, but I also really want to show you guys what I'm doing. Ew. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. That piece is off. And now you can see better. This is the only piece I have left to go, is this right here. Okay, so this is going to be the last clip of today. Or this part of taking everything off the four-wheeler. I got the steering unhooked, I got the motor off, I got the gas tank off, and everything else on here I intend to keep. Like I said, I might cut the frame and put something else on it, but either way, this differential is staying, this steering system is staying, the rear end is staying, and what I gotta try to do is get this off. This shaft is the one that comes from the old engine, and this is the differential. It's all in here. I need to take it out so that I can put it back in between here, in between these axles, so I can put a sprocket on it and drive it. Then it'll just be engine, steering, and all that, but it'll at least move under its own power. I've literally been working on this all day, but it is finally a bare frame that I can get started on. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.